In spiritual path, it is very important to know the distinction between belief or vishwas and faith or shraddha. So, belief is what we develop over time based on our personal experiences. A lot of the beliefs are sometimes inborn in the sense that those are personal experiences you have gained in your past lives. So they have settled as samskaras or innate proclivities, inborn tendencies, which tend to unfold when similar experiences are presented in the present life. Even in this life, whatever activities we are doing, they are creating a bias or prejudice for the next activity. And based on our past responses to similar activities, we are inclined to react in a certain way. The belief system can be around the foods you eat, around the things that you deem as entertainment, around the rituals and practices one adopts in their religious preferences. So, belief can be had as a sense of strong opinion about any fact in life. Vishwas or belief is something that can mold during a lifetime. So, the belief system that you have today might not remain your belief system tomorrow because it is in constant flux or has the ability to be in constant flux to an open minded individual. Whereas if you shut yourself down to new information, then the belief systems that you have accrued so far, those are the ones that will congregate and become more cemented in your ideologies. And that's what shapes your personality over time. Now, shraddha or faith comes as the closest English translation of the word shraddha, because shraddha is something which is very different from belief. So, while belief system is developed by the individual on constant exposure to certain cues, environmental triggers, their response to those triggers, hence shaping further samskaras, shraddha has a component of an external giving, an external imparting of certain set of tendencies that has the quality of the Brahman, that has the qualities of the Paramatman. So, one example of shraddha would be the way realized beings act and interact when you ask them questions, or the way they conduct themselves in a day-to-day activities in terms of their practices, in terms of the food they eat, or the meditation they perform, or solitude they practice. The reason is shraddha is imparted by ananya cheta, ananya bhakti. So, undisturbed attention and undiluted devotion. So, when shraddha happens, there has to be a component of external giving. The divine grace is what Bhagavad Kripa has to be the precursor for faith. So, faith is something, I have talked about this before, your belief can be broken when it is challenged again and again, but faith will only consolidate and aggregate and conglomerate over time. It will only get higher and better over time, because the divine grace has to keep imparting the ideologies into you so that you become like the character of Paramatman. So that is why Gita will repeatedly tell us about shraddha. Not much about vishwas, but a lot about shraddha. Because when you are in this divine path, you will have some confusion, because confusion, curiosity, both are components of rajas, and that's a guna. But once nashto moha smritir labdha tat prasadan mayachyut sthito asmi gat sandheya karishe vachanam cha, all my doubts have been dispelled by the teachings that you have given. This is what Arjun says in the chapter 18 in the end. But the doubts are dispelled not because of belief systems, because belief systems can be broken and can be shattered to leave the person extremely down, depressed. But faith is what gets them going. And you will see a lot of people will make mockery of faith in today's world. The elite scientists pretending to be scientists. I don't think these are really the beacons of being scientific and stuff like that. But there will be a lot of tendency to make fun of people with faith. But this tendency comes from the tamastic darkness and to some extent the arrogance of rajas, that they know better. But the truth is, faith is something which is extremely misunderstood. Most people who claim they have faith, they still have belief systems. It's not faith, because faith is not something you have control about. The faith is what comes to you, because it is divine grace that has to be imparted based on your practices, your spiritual practices, your unnerving devotion to the belief systems you have. The more introspection you do, the more chances you have of getting to faith. Because Paramatma is inside you. Vidyate hridaya granthis chindante sar sanshaya chiyansi chasya karmani tasmin dishte paravare. Inside the hridaya granthi is the Atman and the Paramatman tied like in a knot. And when you constantly introspect, try to have a closed eye meditation, look inside you, in solitude, in silence, in pitch darkness of Brahma Muhurat, then you discover yourself. Then you get the faith. Because Paramatma, Bhagavad Kripa imparts faith, samskaras impart belief system. Samskaras can change based on the gunas, and hence your belief system can be broken if challenged. But because it is undiluted, unfiltered, immensely pure, serene, Paramatman cardinal quality, Shraddha or faith will not change. And that is why Gita talks about verse 17, chapter 28, Ashadhaya hutan dattam, tapas tattam kritam chayat, asat uchyate parth, na tat pretya no I. A person, whoever does those three qualities of karma, yajna, dan and tap, which are the highest, most superior form of karma that should never be abdicated, the yajna, dan and tap, sacrifice, charity and penance, when they are done without faith, are termed as asat. They are both useless in this world, samsara, as well as the pretya, the next world. So make sure you sacrifice your activities to Paramatman, to God. Put His name in everything you do. Don't take ownership, proprietorship for anything, that I have created this house, I have bought this house. No, Bhagavad Kripa has helped you. Divine grace has helped you to attain whatever you have attained today. So, my friend, when you have that mindset of devoting, surrendering, sacrificing, those are the elements of bhakti as well as yagna or sacrifice. So, when you have that mentality, yajna, dan and tap, those are the mentalities in which actions should be performed so that they don't accrue karma bandhan. They don't accrue the debt of karma or rin anubandhan. And when you do that, then because of this constant giving and not claiming proprietorship, the ego is dissolved. And when the ego is dissolved, there is nowhere for the samskaras to write their imprints. And hence, the Karan Sharיר becomes empty of the karma bandhan and the soul is free to merge with the Paramatman. And hence, the qualities of the Paramatman will constantly infuse and infiltrate the soul, which we call grace, which we call Bhagavad Kripa. And for that, the requirements are Nishkam Karma, Ananya Chetananya Bhakti. So I hope you understand the differences of Vishwas, belief, and faith or Shraddha, because Shraddha is something that comes to you versus faith is something you develop. Shraddha or faith is something that comes to you, whereas belief you develop. The belief can be broken when it's extremely challenged all the time. But faith will only congregate and accrue and condense and get stronger over time, even no matter how many times you challenge it. And the belief system is based on your samskaras, which themselves are based on the gunas, which themselves are based on the presence of ownership, proprietorship, or doership, which is qualities of ego. Whereas faith, because it is coming from the Brahman, it has the cardinal quality of gunatit, or beyond the gunas, and hence it imparts the ultimate wisdom, in sometimes in forms of intuition, sometimes in forms of compassion, but sometimes in forms of peace. Because faith creates a lot of peace, whereas belief system can sometimes cause bewilderment. So I hope you like this video, and if you have any questions, please feel free to leave comments below. Thank you.